part 2, we are going to continue the Roosevelt Island adventure with some more history, fun facts, and amazing sights on the island. Please keep watching if you're interested. Let's get going.
In this video, we will explore Cornell Tech, the Octagon, the Blackwell Lighthouse, and the 6th oldest farmhouse in New York City. If you haven't seen part 1 of Roosevelt Island, I'll leave it linked in the description box. Cornell Tech was one of Mayor Michael Bloomberg's economic development initiatives. It's a joint venture between Cornell University and Technikon, which is Israel's Institute of Technology. The 12-acre campus will be fully completed by 2037. The Tata Innovation Center opened in 2017. 1/3 of the building is academic, laboratory, and research space, while the other 2/3 houses corporate offices for tech companies, startups, and venture capitalists. Here's the Bloomberg Center, the city's first net zero building, which means that it only uses electricity that it creates itself. The Bloomberg Center has a unique facade with these metallic circles that shimmer in the light. I've never seen anything like it before. It's super unique. Walking throughout the campus, it's difficult to not look up at these buildings. You'll begin to see different angles and various opportunities for pictures as you walk along. The architecture is truly beautiful. I can't wait to see how the rest of campus is going to look once it's completed. The bridge we see there in the distance is the Queensboro Bridge that connects Manhattan over to Queens. Check out this angle. How is this even possible? It looks like it defies gravity to me. And here it is from the front side. Not as spectacular as from the side, but you can tell this building is an engineering feat. Walking up closer to the middle of Roosevelt Island, you can find some eateries, a Starbucks, a smoothie place, and a few restaurants. Right now we're at Jupioka, which is a play on the words juice and tapioca. They have these acai bowls there, also smoothies, bubble tea, and pressed juices. I recommend you come here for a refreshing drink or snack, especially if it's a hot day. Also, Thai rolled ice cream is available. The Octagon was built in the mid-19th century and was converted into high-end apartments in 2006. It was originally the entrance to the New York City Lunatic Asylum, which was built in 1834 and opened in 1841. It was one of the first facilities for the mentally ill in the country. This site was selected because the pleasant island surroundings were thought to be conducive to both physical and mental rehabilitation. During the 1890s, the building became the entrance to Metropolitan Hospital, a general hospital known for its School of Nursing and care of tuberculosis patients. The building was abandoned in the 1950s and the wings were demolished in 1970. Today, it's a city, state, and national landmark. Charles Dickens wrote about its main staircase and the multiple fires that affected its facade. The 5-story rotunda was made of stone quarried from the island. Today, the Octagon Tower is a highly sustainable building because of its utilization of solar panels and fuel cells. Lighthouse Park is at the most northern tip of the island. It's close to the Octagon and is a 20-minute walk from the tram station. There is a small lighthouse located at the tip of the island. It's called the Blackwell Island Lighthouse, and it was built in 1872 in the Gothic Revival structure. It's on the National Register of Historic Places and a New York City landmark. It is unclear who built the initial structure. One legend has it that in 1872, the inmates of the island's prison built the 50-foot-tall lighthouse using the island's own stone. Another record states that a patient from the mental asylum started building a structure where the lighthouse now stands today that he was quite proud of. Further confusing the narrative is the fact that the lighthouse was also designed by James Renwick Jr., who was the same person who designed the smallpox hospital. The lighthouse helped sailors navigate the East River's treacherous waters. If you want to learn more about the treacherous waters of the East River, then you should check out my video about the history of Astoria, Queens. I'll leave that linked in the description box. Speaking of Astoria, we are now looking out towards the neighborhood of Astoria in Queens. We can see the piano factory building, which now houses apartments. And if you're a fan of wholesale shopping, the Costco in Astoria can be seen here by the edge of the river. These reflective silver orbs are part of a new installation in Lighthouse Park. They're part of a memorial for Nelly Bly. Nelly was born Elizabeth Seaman, and it was her pen name. She was an American journalist, industrialist, inventor, and charity worker. She is known for her record-breaking trip around the world in 72 days. Interestingly, she started the branch of investigative journalism. One of the more well-known things she did was to work undercover in a mental institution to report what was happening from within. Fittingly, the Octagon was the institution where she was able to get herself admitted. The newspaper that she worked for got her out after 10 days. She later wrote a book about the deplorable conditions of the asylum, which led to reforms. Way to go, girl! It's so cool to be surrounded by so much history and national landmarks. When I first saw this lighthouse in person, I thought it was the smallest thing I'd ever seen. I did not expect it to be so short. But I guess it did its job. It is tall enough that the boats could see the light, and it was able to serve as a beacon for the northmost tip of the island. The Blackwell House is located at 500 Main Street. It was built in 1796 and is one of the oldest houses in New York City. In fact, it is New York City's 6th oldest farmhouse. It was once the home of James Blackwell, whose father had inherited the island from his wife's stepfather, Captain John Manning, the Sheriff of New York. When Blackwell himself inherited the island, it was then known as Blackwell Island, which remained the island's name for over 100 years. Later on, New York City bought the cottage and turned it into living quarters for those who worked on the island as wardens for the hospitals and prisons. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1972. This former farmhouse has been refurbished and is opened up to the public. The exhibits inside tell the story of Roosevelt Island and the buildings that are no longer standing. There is no admissions fee to enter. Now, let's talk about food. As I mentioned earlier in the video, there are a few places conglomerated along this street where you can get a bite to eat or get smoothies, coffee, acai bowls, pizza, ice cream, calzones, sushi, or bubble tea. Right now, we're gonna head into Fuji East Japanese restaurant and get ourselves some sushi.
So here we have the fancy dragon roll with shrimp tempura, cooked eel, and avocado on the outside. This is the tuna mango rolls. And here we have the mango specialty roll. It has probably mango and mango with salmon. Yum. Salmon and mango. I see a theme here. Mango. This looks pretty good. Let's dig in. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, a comment, be sure to subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss my videos when they go live on Thursday evenings. Until next time, bye!
I'll leave some of my other content linked in the description box. In the meantime, let's keep in touch on Instagram at Miss Anna Adventures. Looking forward to hearing from you and seeing you in next week's video.